boy, a new Thor movie. It's time for live floating Bjorn head reaction. Wow, this sucks. Hi, I am Bjorn, and today we are doing something different. As you can tell from my fancy headgear, we're talking about Thor Love and Thunder, specifically how to fix it, because it's not a very good movie. This actually is ripping off my hair, so I'm going to take it off, but I would point out, I was actually born in Norway, so this isn't cultural appropriation. Nice try. I saw you tried to cancel me on Twitter. You failed. Okay, so Thor Love and Thunder. It's a movie that exists, and I saw it forever ago. And ever since then, it's been stewing in my mind, and that's not a good thing. Frankly, the movie just has more problems than it does benefits, which is a problem because there's some really good things in it. I like the Jane Foster story. I like Gorr the God Butcher. That's really it. Let me break down how this is going to work. This is going to be kind of like me discussing how I thought Ant-Man Quantumania should have ended. I'm not writing anything. This is off the cuff. I have no script. I have a vague outline of what I'm going to say and what I think. So if I meander a little bit, you're going to have to forgive me. I don't write scripts. I've never once written a script on this channel, all right? You expect too much of me, man. What, you want me to write? You want me to write? Okay. Does this look like high school? So this is going to be off the cuff. Just my general thoughts on the movie and what I would change. Number one thing I would change is removing Jane Foster from this movie. I actually, as I said previously, really like Jane Foster. I think her emotional arc in this movie kind of works until they, you know, undercut it at the end of the movie where they reveal that she and also Heimdall from the like 2 movies ago is not dead. That they're actually okay somehow. I know it's Valhalla, but it appears less like a spiritual plane and more like a physical place they're going to escape from. I don't know if I was the only one who got that vibe watching the movie, but I really did. And I think that this meme from the Ant-Man review is relevant again.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
Yeah, Marvel just refuses to learn that we want our characters to die. Oh my God, please kill a character and make it stick. I'm genuinely trying to think, has there ever been a Marvel character who has died and stayed dead? I guess Aunt May is dead and is going to stay dead, presumably. I guess we can say Iron Man too, but I have my sneaking suspicions. No way Robert Downey Jr. doesn't end up coming back. I would be shocked. Even Wolverine from Logan is like, he's back now, he's with Deadpool. Which, I mean, if he was going to be brought back for anything, I suppose Deadpool is on the low end of the stake spectrum. So my point is, I liked that they killed Jane Foster in this movie. I got a little sidetracked there, sorry about that. My big complaint is that she just doesn't fit with this movie. There's a sort of tonal clash. This movie has 5 different tones. Basically 5 different movies like duct taped together. You've got the love story. You've got the Jane Foster dealing with her impending death story. You've got the Gorr the God Butcher getting revenge on the gods story. You've got the wacky space comedy, Thor Ragnarok stuff. And the 5th one, you've got Valkyrie struggling to run a theme park on Earth. Riveting shit, guys. Good job. These movies and these tones just don't clash at all. And unfortunately, the only way to fix the movie is to remove these movies and focus on the one I think has the most potential. For those of you who might have guessed, it's the Gorr the God Butcher one. That's the one that's interesting. The Jane Foster love story cancer movie could be good as Thor 5. I don't think it should be in this movie. I think it should have been made its own movie. It's sort of a disservice to that idea, which was executed, I thought, fairly well. I was not on board when I heard they were going to do a female Thor. I've seen that kind of shit, and I've seen it flop. But it worked here. It worked for me here. So I think what they need to do is sort of take a razor and cut that out. Now, and I want to specify, I'm talking about moving it to a different movie, hypothetically. I don't think that should be in the dumpster, because again, I think it's some of the best stuff in the movie. It just doesn't work with what I think the movie should be. So, we're going to focus in on Gorr. Let's understand Gorr the God Butcher as a character and how I think he should fit into a Thor narrative. You've got Thor, previously a jackass. I don't know how to describe him. He's arrogant, he's crude, he's spoiled, and he gets humbled and becomes a hero over the course of these movies. He experiences heavy losses and learns to and learns to become a true hero until they seemingly for no reason undo a lot of that characterization and make him kind of a dork in this movie. He's like a big doofus again. He's kind of arrogant again. It's like they've walked back some of his character development, and it serves only one purpose, and that purpose is to make him flow with Gorr the God Butcher. In a comic book story of Gorr the God Butcher, or like in a movie, right? Let's say hypothetically this was Thor 1 or 2. Thor is still kind of arrogant and learning to become a hero again. Gorr could work as a villain like that in that kind of a movie. Gorr hates all the gods because they're selfish and arrogant. He comes across Thor and they fight, and throughout the fight, Thor defeats Gorr and learns to become a better hero in the process, and to sort of elevate above what Gorr expects of him. Except we did that 3 times, and now we've got a Thor who's already pretty much a hero. So doing this kind of a plot again is really, really irrelevant and kind of dumb. I don't even know why they're really doing it. So what would I do? I would make the movie about Gorr. Let me explain. A lot of people are like, what? It's called Thor. I'm like, yeah. But Infinity War is also called Avengers, and really it should be called Thanos. That movie is awesome. And why is it awesome? Because it doesn't focus on the heroes who already have way too much character development and don't really need a lot more of it. It focuses in on a villain, and it really fleshes him out so that his ultimate defeat of the Avengers is really warranted. I think we should do the same thing in this movie, but make it Gorr the God Butcher, the movie, with Thor in it as a guest star. He's also there. And the movie should be laid out like this. Gorr shows up, starts killing the gods. The opening scene of this movie is perfectly fine. Some of the dialogue's a little janky, but you know what? Whatever. We'll let it slide. Leave the opening scene. It sets up Gorr's motivation fairly succinctly. We're going to remove the bit where he is told to go find the Bifrost, because I'm going to remove the bizarre need for the Bifrost to unlock eternity. It makes no fucking sense. Why does the thing that Odin specifically has, or why is it this thing that specifically opens up eternity? I don't remember in the movie if they mention a reason why. I don't think they do. I watched it like 2 days ago, so I think I would remember that, but I'm also kind of an idiot, so I couldn't really say. But I think either way, it's a really dumb reason. It's in the movie as a reason why Gorr is attacking Thor. But hello, knock, 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 filmmakers, hello, hey, why add a 15-minute subplot when you already have a reason for Gorr to go after Thor? He's a fucking god! It's so obvious. You have a perfectly set up reason why Gorr the God Butcher would naturally gravitate towards Thor, the god of thunder. Come on, why do we need this thing? Now, I will admit, the eternity bit is good. We're gonna put a pin in the eternity bit, because it's going to come back around at the end of this movie that I'm whimsically laying out before you. It's a fucking mess. What else am I going to go ahead and take an axe to? The kids in the cage. This is bad, like really bad. It serves no purpose other than to maybe set up like a Young Avengers thing. Are they trying to set up live Heimdall kid reaction as like a Young Avenger? What is the point? Just to show us that Heimdall has a kid? I do not understand the point of any of the children being kidnapped by Gorr. Thor already has motivation to go after Gorr. He's killing the gods. The thing that Thor is. He's also, going to eternity to destroy all the gods. So they add this bit where Gorr kidnaps children. And he does it to trick Thor into coming to the Shadow Realm. Which, hilarious by the way. I don't know if that's a Marvel comic book thing, but that's definitely staying in. All I could think of was Yu-Gi-Oh! Watching the movie. Every time they said the Shadow Realm. So if Gorr wants Thor's Mjolnir, right? He wants to summon the Bifrost, if I'm not mistaken. Why doesn't he just fucking take it from Thor? Like, he proved that he could beat Thor when Jane Foster wasn't there, so he should just wait till Thor's asleep. Use his weird shadow powers, teleport to Thor's room, stab him in the neck, and take Mjolnir. Anything is better. So so these children are just like entirely pointless. If he wants the axe, he goes after Thor. If the Bifrost is needed to open this, it's all in service of getting Thor and Gorr to fight. But they're already gonna fight. So we've got like 30, 45 minutes of screen time here that's entirely pointless. I'm harping on this a lot because it's like the fundamental problem with the movie besides the really, really bad jokes, which again, we're gonna take an axe to that. The goats getting axed. The Guardians, they're sent off with Thor where he says you need to find people. Sure, that's lovely. Maybe Thor looks for his people among the other gods, and he discovers that they are just as bad as Gorr says they are. So let me lay out a hypothetical scene. Okay, so we see, Thor, the Guardians, all that can play out roughly the same. Maybe make Thor less incompetent and remove some of the dumb action set pieces from that opening. They're really stupid. I didn't really care for the way the action was done in this movie. Oh, okay, so we'll leave everything up. Like, Thor gets the notification that there's dead gods everywhere, that there's help, right? And he flies off into space, and maybe he comes across one of the dead gods. We can use that shot from the movie with the big giant skeleton monster white god. I think that's straight out of Thor God of Thunder, so that's awesome. So just leave all those visuals in. And we'll say maybe Sif is dead. I think it was really bizarre to reintroduce Sif and then, again, no consequences. She just survives Gorr's attack somehow. He doesn't, finish her off. I don't understand why. But it's even better that she's dead and she's left some kind of recording for Thor, right? Like, oh, hey Thor, you've got to look out. The God Butcher is coming. And she's, sent him a message or something and he receives it. I don't know. But he finds her dead. And that sets him in motion. He's now after Gorr, the God Butcher. Now, for the next 20 so minutes of screen time, we're going to focus in on Gorr. We're going to see Gorr kill a god. One more complaint about this movie. This motherfucker is called the God Butcher, and yet we see him butcher a grand total of one god on screen. It's lame. He's the God Butcher. There's so many pointless gods running around in the MCU. We've literally set up a ton of them. You've got whatever the Eternals are, which breaks the world building of this movie a little bit, but whatever. You've got my angle I would go with this is, let's say we've got the gods from Moon Knight. Let's go ahead and have Gorr kill one of the Egyptian gods. Not one of the important ones, but one of the ones we've seen maybe. We can see him kill the Avatar and then force the god out of hiding and kill them. It could be a really exciting action set piece. We can shoot it in the desert. You could have them use some cool sand magic or something. I don't know, just something different, like the shadows fighting sand or the Nile powers, whatever. He kills one of the gods, but butchers them all up. Oh my god, we've seen that Gorr is a serious fucking threat. He's no joke. And then Thor shows up right after the butchery is done, and he says something like, "God Butcher, I'm coming to put you down." And Gorr smiles, he's all happy about it, because obviously he's been looking for gods to kill, and Thor has just shown right up. And I think it's around this time that I should say what my emotional arc for this movie would be. I said this movie is about Gorr. And what is Gorr learning in this movie? What is Gorr's development? Gorr is going to come to the realization that not all gods are evil. This seems like a really easy thing. And I don't really think the movie gets it across at all. The ending of the movie is rather fantastic. Gorr is at eternity. He has his wish. He could kill all the gods. But Thor reminds him of his daughter, and he chooses to bring his daughter back. That is a great ending. The problem is, Gorr doesn't seem to bring her back because he's decided that not all the gods should die. No. The vibe I get is that Gorr brought her back because, hey, he likes his daughter, and that was the whole reason he got upset in the first place. The ending of the movie should be Gorr realizing that not all gods deserve to die, and that maybe there are some bad ones, but there are also some good ones, and that instead of killing them all, he should, I don't know, spread a little more joy into the world. Maybe he could have acted as a god that was benevolent. He could have helped people instead of killing. And in that moment of realization, he uses his last wish to bring his daughter back to life, as opposed to killing all the gods. He puts an end to the pointless bloodshed and decides to be better than the gods wherever. Perfect! The movie, somehow, they have their layup. They're going in for the dunk, and they just trip over their own shoelaces and fall flat in their face. They were so close. They were this close to greatness, and they just fail at the end. And Gorr's death just feels completely unearned. But if you just tweak it. So we make this movie about Gorr realizing that maybe Thor isn't like the other gods, and that maybe, by proxy, not all the gods are evil. Not all the gods deserve to die, just because one treated him badly. And we have Gorr go through character development, and then the ending is, roughly the same. And I think this is a really interesting look, because I would say fundamentally, Gorr and Thor are like Batman and the Joker. And let me explain. They are characters who want similar things. Batman wants order, Joker wants chaos. So they're diametrically opposed. The things they want contradict with each other. Thor wants to help people. He wants to save people, and he wants to be a god that helps the world. Gorr wants to kill all the gods. They're opposite goals, but they both want the same thing. Gorr wants to help people. Thor wants to help people. Their ways of going about it are completely different. So that makes them interesting. They play off each other in interesting ways. They have conflicting motivations. And if Thor convinces Gorr that his way is incorrect and that Thor is right, Gorr can become something like a hero in his final moments. And there, will be an emotional arc to the film. Hypothetically, if we did those in Marvel movies. The second reason why I think Gorr and Thor are, perfect villains for each other, perfect villain-hero combo. Their names rhyme, Gorr and Thor. I just like it. Gorr, Thor. Like, look, you could literally have a ship name and it would just be Gorr or it would just be Thor. It's perfect. So I'd say in the first encounter with Gorr, Thor would get his ass handed to him. He'd get the shit beat out of him. I'd say Thor barely escapes with his life through the Bifrost. And then I'll say maybe Gorr, and we'll see Gorr turn back towards the Egyptian pyramid he was fighting in front of, and he goes in and finds a scroll. We'll realize that Gorr was after more than just killing a god. He was after the location of eternity, which he now has. Oh my god, he's going to find eternity to make his one wish. And we'll maybe do some exposition where he explains it to the avatar of the god before he dies, something like that. Something really dramatic and creepy. Really let Gorr show and he's gonna say my one wish would be no more gods. Really set that up. So Thor and we can have Korg go along with him. I don't know if we really need Valkyrie there, but sure, Valkyrie can tag along. That would be fine. Are going to go to the Council of Gods that we saw in the last movie. Only, I'm going to make a few more changes, some little changes. Number one, I really love the idea that there's just a council of gods where all the deities of all the major religions are just chilling and having cocktails together. I think that's really fun. Something almost like God of War, but a little more zany. I think the problem with the sequence is it tries to set up that all the gods are bad, but it does it in the wrong way. I like all the gold, the splendor, all this stuff. But then, Thor fights Zeus. This whole sequence just feels off to me. I don't know what it is about it that I don't really care for, because on a conceptual level it's sort of fun. Zeus is there. Maybe I don't like that Thor so easily kills the leader of all these other gods who are uber powerful. I think maybe that should be the wrong angle to take. I think maybe the gods should be above. I think they're above Gorr. If we were to, step down to Gorr's level, then we would prove that he's of our time, and we're so above him. They're very arrogant, they're high-mighty. They don't know he's going for eternity. Let's change that, because in the movie they know, and they don't really seem to care, which seems really dumb and stupid, because they should be very concerned about that. If there really is an eternity at the center of the universe that can kill all the gods, it would appeal to me that the gods would be kind of worried about it. But it's just some gods dying. They're not good enough to be among us if this god killer can get to them. Make them arrogant. Show again all the negative qualities of the gods. Have Thor be but people are dying. This is not right. And then maybe we have Thor and Zeus fight each other to a draw. And Thor says something like, you guys are no gods. This is not the way to behave. And he's sort of understanding for the first time that these gods he's looked up to, they aren't as good as he is. They haven't gone through the character development that Thor has yet. Yet Thor sees the potential for them to change because he was like them before. This is the key. Thor doesn't now decide that he's just going to rampantly kill the gods for no reason. He doesn't kill Zeus. What? That's so wildly out of character and just kind of silly to me. I don't know. He would want to help them change, so he tries one more time. He appeals to their, to their humanity and their care for life, and they just give him nothing. So Thor leaves. He declares that he's going to go after the God Butcher himself. I do want to add one thing. I think maybe we should have Thor have another sidekick. And the reason I think we should do this is because I have a sequence in mind that I think would make for a great ending to the movie, or a great setup to Gorr realizing that Thor isn't all that bad. I think one of the gods should be moved by Thor's little speech. Maybe one of the lesser gods, someone who would be weak on the surface. I don't know. Hermes? I don't care. Just pick a god, any god. We got a revolving door of gods. Someone that your audience would know, but wouldn't be crazy powerful, right? We're not going to pull Zeus or Quetzalcoatl, none of these really powerful gods from various mythologies. We're going to go with someone lesser, one of the lesser gods, I don't know. You take your pick, whatever. And this god goes with Thor. And so in our final sequence, we have Gorr about to kill that god, and Thor throws himself in front of Gorr's necroblade and is cut, and he's seriously injured. And Gorr is baffled as to why a god would give up his life for another god. And we really play out this sequence, and Thor says because his life matters or something, and Gorr realizes for the first time that Thor isn't all bad, and instead of trying to kill Thor, and then he turns and goes right into to eternity. And the rest of the sequence plays out the exact same. You know, we have Gorr presented with eternity. She stands before him. It's like, make your wish, and Thor's like, not all of the gods deserve to die, yada yada yada. And they would have had a rapport at this point. I'm breezing through this because I'm not reading a whole script. So imagine there would be sequences where we build up their sort of rapport as hero and villain, where Gorr is slowly learning that Thor isn't as shitty as these other gods, and Thor appeals to him one last time, like, you know, you don't want to kill the gods, we don't need more death, that's the last thing the world needs, yada yada yada. And then finally he says the thing that strikes a chord. He says, what would your daughter say? And he realizes for the first time, Gorr looks down at himself. He sees what he's become. He sees all those shadows and the Necro sword, and he realizes that he's been consumed by evil. And Gorr says, if you need a wish, bring back your daughter. Just like in the movie. I think he says something along those lines. And we have Gorr, you know, cast his wish. Gorr dies because the Necro sword finally consumes him. And maybe Thor destroys the Necro sword. I think that happens in the movie, actually. One more thing I want to complain about that movie. Thor randomly gives his powers to every single kid. That is the dumbest and most random thing I've ever seen. It serves no point in the film. It's really stupid, frankly. And it raises so many questions, like, why didn't Thor do that when they were fighting Thanos? Why didn't Thor do that in movie 1 when, you know, Jane Foster was about to get killed by that big robot thing? I don't know, man. It's just a mess. So yeah, end of the movie is the same. Thor adopts Gorr's daughter, names her Love. We can even call the movie Love and Thunder, because I think at the end of the movie, it should be a message of love prevailing over hate. I think that's really what the movie should be about. I think if you focus in more on Gorr, give him a lot more screen time, like Christian Bale's amazing performance, like have time to breathe, give him a point, let him go out on his own terms in like an exciting way. I think if you focus in on these things and remove the Jane Foster love story, because it just doesn't fit in this movie, and there's more things you could do with your running time, right? You could shorten the movie, which, I mean, never hurts. I think the movie was bloated. It felt like there was a lot of pointless stuff in it. And if you condense the story and focus on the relationship between Gorr and Thor as diametrically opposed foes, there you go. That's where you're really at, and I think that's where the movie sort of comes together. All right, I might have been completely off base with this. This was literally me coming up with this off the cuff. This is a lot of rambling. I'm sure the movie was wiggly windy, but this is just sort of things that I watching the movie, all I could think was these are what I would have done to sort of repair the movie. If you have your own thoughts on what you would have done, let me know below. I always like to see comments. I will try to answer them all. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and share it if you really liked the video. If you really thought, you know, wow, that guy, he really fixed Thor. Oh my God, the Thor movie. Go ahead and share. I'm going to go have mead in Valhalla now. I'll see you guys in the next one.